let's move forward with some cool animation, you guys. I think that will be the goal for today. I made this poster last night, so let's go to Photoshop here, and this poster is a bunch of different kind of layers all on top of each other. Had some fun, and then I did some final color passes. So obviously the animation will look slightly different than the actual finished poster, which is fine because it's going to be an animated thing. But I just want to make sure I don't have any locked layers. I'm going to grab all of these, and I'm just going to go V and just kind of bring this up a little bit. Interesting how, ooh, I see what's going on. Some of these are not linked. It's like some of my clipping masks here are not moving along with everything else. So I just want this kind of like this, I think. I think that's a little too high. Let's try that. Yeah, that's it. Slightly different, but not enough to make a major difference. I think that should be fine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through these layers, and I want to label them so that they're a lot easier to use in After Effects. So if we hop over into our After Effects, we have the project file actually open. So the nice thing about After Effects is you can open Photoshop files as a composition with retaining layer sizes, and it will have all of your individual layers from your Photoshop project with the different blending modes and everything. It's really nice. And anything that you have kind of clipping masked over itself will be just like that. And it will kind of create a little pre-comp for you, which is just fantastic. Make things super, super simple for animating. That being said, let's get through this. Cool, got coffee. I might have to go grab I got some slight flavored soda waters, like little seltzer LaCroix, if you will. First things first, we are going to hop into our Photoshop scene here, and we are going to start labeling these. What is this? Oh, that is my signature. Cool, that's fine. That can be off. We are going to call this Bokeh Close, or we'll call it Close Bokeh. Enter. We're going to call this, and then this one, Far Bokeh. And this is Prism, and this is eye bar, close eye bar, far mouth bar, arm bar. And this is where, if you're setting up your Photoshop file as you create it, label everything, saves you time. What I'll probably do is after this gets uploaded to YouTube, I'm going to go through and kind of fix some of the things around it, do some editing in there. I know YouTube Studio actually has some pretty decent editing tools for chopping parts of videos out and stuff like that. So here we have character, or you can just say model. And here we have light, ray, right. What is this? Halo, eye bar. We'll do far eye bar, and backdrop. Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. That is all kind of set up the way we want it set up, and we can go Command Save, and it just saves it, and then we should be able to go into After Effects, and it should have all of the names there. So the first things we don't need are the logo. Those files are not needed, so I'm going to grab those, and I am going to delete. And then what I'm going to do over here, I wish I could change this name source to not be the title of the PSD, but it's all kind of there, right? Far, we'll just have to keep this a little bit out, which is fine. It's not that big of a deal. What I want to do is just add some cool kind of like transitions over the tops of some of these, and just have it like, especially using a fractal noise. The nice thing about fractal noise, last bit of coffee there. The nice thing about fractal noise is you can, when you mask it with some cool effects to different layers, it can give this kind of like shimmer effects to different layers, and it really looks sick. So that will give a little bit of animation to some of these things that could be really cool, especially setting some of these bars here. If we tie a couple of these, the bars to, also I want to lock these bokeh. The bokeh we're not going to move at all. That's just these circles here. See them? and it's just a single kind of thing. I don't think I'm going to move those very much at all. I think they're fine where they're at. We're going to add motion in other areas, really kind of the focus here. I want these bars to slightly move up and down. I want these this prism to kind of have some filter to it, give some shimmer. I think we can have fun with this. So first things first, let's try and add shimmer to this prism. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to go find our prism right here, and right above that, we're going to go new, solid, prism, shimmer. And that's going to be right above there. And we are going to mask this to track matte prism, but we want to make sure it'll automatically turn off the prism. We don't want that. We want the prism on. And now that we have this on here, we want it to be a luma mask. So this is only going to show up wherever there's opacity to our prism, right? Which is honestly, the yellow looks sick. I don't know why I didn't do that. The pink looks a little better. The yellow is a little too sharp. But regardless, we're going to use one of the classic effects over here. Let's let it load everything in. We are going to use fractal noise. Fractal noise is a phenomenal little cool thing. And as you can see right there, looking pretty sick. And we're going to definitely use the screen mode on this. And even just at the level that it's at already, you might be able to see it's adding some, I'll turn it on and off. It's very smooth. And then a little bit of noise is happening in there. We can kind of change this contrast to make it a little stronger. And drop the brightness or bring the brightness up. You can see it's adding like a cloudiness to it, to the prism. A little bit of a cloudiness. Nice thing is you can evolve the... Oh, is that not working? Porque? Oh, you can barely see it. Okay, so maybe you can kind of see it now up in this area. As I move this around, it's evolving the noise. And you can also move the noise in a direction. And so if you evolve and move it, it can kind of look like it's bleeding off, which is a nice effect, right? Nice little effect. Let's set this back to 0 and 0. And let's set this, let's reset this. Can we reset? Yeah, reset that back to where it was, because there's some other cool abilities that you have here, which is evolution options. So we can cycle the evolution, which is every time the evolution goes 3 rotations, it will loop back to the first image, which is really nice to get looping animations. So for Reels, Shorts, TikToks, things like that, if you want kind of this seamless transition from the beginning of the video or the end of the video back to the beginning, and then it's just kind of this seamless replayability, it can be really fun to do it this way. Now, getting a song to match up perfectly, that will always be difficult, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try and make this loop, and we want it more or less visible. One thing we are gonna have to keep in mind is aspect ratio, right? So phone aspect ratio, which we are doing this for a short, phone aspect ratio is going to be I think 9:16, so, or 16:9. So this should be, width is 1080, height is 1920. Oh, we're already there. I feel like it's not. Poster tutorial 1, composition, setting. Didn't think so. Look at that. So right now our width is very high. It is not 9:16. We want to change this to 9:16. No, that's landscape. We don't want landscape. We want portrait, social media portrait. And then we want to lock aspect ratio, and we want to size this up. 38. I really want to see the top of that, so we're going to keep sizing this up. That looks really nice. Let's go to where it's actually too far. That's too far, right? So now let's bring that back down until it's just perfect. And there's probably a calculator that could have made this a little bit easier, or a crop tool, but I'm being a little lazy right now. This is just one way to get this done. And I think that looks just fine. That looks good. Frame rate, 30 frames per second. It's pretty fine. I mean, unless you want to animate in 60 frames per second, I don't think a reel needs to be that smooth. Just, it makes kind of keyframing a little bit more difficult. And once you have your keyframes down, I like animating in 30 frames per second. If I want to export it 60, then I can just come back into here and I can just change it. And the keyframes should work out anyways. 13 seconds is pretty long. I might go for more of like an 8-second We'll go 8-second, 5 frame. I think that that's probably going to be a little bit better. And we can do the same here. So we don't really have to worry about this layer right here, which is this. It's going to have our old composition settings from the Photoshop folder, but that being said, that's fine. So let's get onto this noise here, this prism shimmer. We're going to change this color to fuchsia because that's kind of the color of the prism. So let's get this lined up so we can kind of see it, and let us start animating. We have our beginning point and we have our end point here. I am going to come here and we're going to set the transformation. A turbulent offset is going to be a little bit difficult to loop because I don't think it will loop perfectly. We might have to do this a couple different times or come up with one animation here and then loop back into itself. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just get this original animation going, right? And starting here, we're going to say animation set at 0. And at the very end, we can hit U while selecting that to show us our keyframes. Evolution 0. Evolution will be 3. So we can just click that and hit 3, enter. And so what that's going to do is as this animates, this will be kind of spinning. Oh, that's only 3 degrees, my bad. We are not doing 3 degrees. We're going 0 on that. And on the first one, we're doing 3. Boom. There we go. That will actually add some motion into this. You can barely see it. Barely see it. So, oh, there you go. If you move fast enough, you'll be able to see it. But with the scale and changing what this looks like, right? So let's go. Right now it's on basic. I like turbulent smooth and with a spline. This tends to be, as you can see, as it's kind of spinning there. Looks pretty good. We want to see what we're doing a little bit more. There you go. So that looks fantastic. All right. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take this back a few frames to about 1 second, 5 frames. So this is at 7, right? Boom. And then we're going to come here to the end, and I'm actually going to stretch this out that whole second, and we're going to drag this over here. And the reason that we're doing this is so when we shift D and duplicate this, we can fade this in and fade this out so that it is perfectly looping the animation. So this should perfectly loop because this one's moved forward. So we take this. I got to make sure I'm doing this right. Let's see what this looks like. No, it's still got that jump. I'm trying to remember how to do this to where it loops perfectly. And I'm thinking because this will perfectly connect into this. See how that loops perfectly? But these two don't. So that is the next part that I have to figure out of how to get these two to loop. So this is at 1 second. We'll go through that and we'll make that look a little bit better. Right now, we want these to be the alpha. Oh, not that. Alpha masks. So we will really want these to loop perfectly. I'm trying to figure this out. Just give a little bit of extra room. I think I need to go, let's bring this back to here. Let's bring this back to here. Let's go U on this as well. Let's take this back to 7. Boom this back to right at 7. This to here. This right there. Delete this. Bring this up. This should match perfectly. Shift D. And these should loop perfectly, right? It should loop perfectly in between. The only thing we need now is the motion. So what I want to do is on this one, U, this is going to not just have evolution, we want to have motion, transform. So right here, we're going to have the turbulence offset at just classic, wherever it's at. And then over here, I want this to move out. And so as this is kind of going and moving, we have it kind of turbulent offset. It's like moving out as if that is, I wonder if I want it that way. And I kind of want the turbulence to happen a little bit faster. Definitely kind of gives the sense of like a smoky vibe, right? Definitely gives the sense of a little bit of a smoky vibe. Maybe we need it to not be on screen. Maybe we need it to be on darken. Let's see. Prism, darken, multiply, overlay. I like that a lot. That looks a lot better. Now we're kind of getting that motion. that motion looks really great. The only problem is that cut, right? So what we need to do is we need to go like this. We need to go Shift D, and this is going to be here. This is going to be here. But then also we are going to have, and I think this is where this is like one of the most difficult things for my brain to like understand at any given time, is this looping version of a non-looping object where you use 3 different layers to do this. And I know that you're supposed to extend it and have part of it kind of disappear. So it's like this hops back right there. This doesn't. This is going to be a perfect loop right there. But then what we need is this to be extended. That's what it is. And this needs to be extended. So I figured it out. I think I figured it out. So we go like this. We bring this back. We bring it forward 1 second. Boom. So 1 second. U. Boom. Now I go Shift D or Control D to duplicate it. I bring this back 1 second. Or we can set this up wherever we want, right? But this needs to always be 1 second above. And so what happens is right here, this one fades in. We go T, T, T. Yeah. And on this one's opacity, I go 0 to 100. And from this one, I go 0 to 100. And so when we reach this point, it's a perfect loop because they're fading out into each other. And these will always match up right there. So you never will really have any kind of hard cut, and it will loop perfectly to kind of get this smooth animation. See, we figured it out. I knew that there was a stretch somewhere that I needed to stretch it out, but that's a good way to take something that has a hard cut and make it look like it's naturally looping, right? You can just throw a little bit of a fade in between the beginning and the end, and as long as it's not an obvious jump, it shouldn't really matter too much. So that looks great. I really like how that looks. And what we can do with these, right, is these fractal noises, one issue that I do have at the moment is how to link a fractal noise. How do you link 2 different effects to the same controls in After Effects? That's something that I should probably look into, but it's fine. We'll move on. For right now, I think the style of noise that we have looks pretty cool, and we can always do the same thing with these using a particle effect, which might look really cool. Right now, what I want to do is manipulate these bars. I think that these bars, if they were moving or even like kind of slightly distorted, would look cool. I also think that shimmer on her halo might look sick. But for now, that's a cool motion. Looks pretty sick. Looks pretty cool. Okay, a little bit slow, right? It's a little bit slow. I might want to speed those up, and very simple to do. We know now that we can take this and go U all the way at the end of this, and at the end of this U, and we just come to here, and we go to evolution settings and just click on those and set this to like 5. And then come to here, evolution options, set this to 5. And on this one's evolution options, that is set to cycles is 5. This one, evolution options, set this cycles to 5, right? So now it's going to be manipulating faster. And then, is the beginning not 1? I think I just set the beginning to not 1 as well. So we need to come here and we need to set this to 0, 0. And this one, we need to set this one's beginning to 0 as well. 0, enter. And then now we can just kind of like reset these back wherever we want, and these should loop. And that kind of smoke falling off should look a little bit better. One thing I am thinking about doing, cool, that works great. The 1 is fine on these, the beginning keyframe. What we need to do is we need to fix the end keyframe to be further along. So what I'm going to do here is turbulence offset. What I want to do is take this back to, we'll do some angel number, 777. You know what would be a bit faster? Is just typing this in. 777, boom. And now we can go like this, and we can go like this. You just get those perfectly lined up. And now that should look a lot better. I kind of like the idea of it going that direction. That looks really good. And we can go back in and change the style of everything too. Nice thing is duplicating this is super, super simple. Let's go. That's fine for now. We'll stop with that for that part. And we can mess with the fractal noise later and the blending modes and stuff later. Overlay is cool. The difference looks pretty shitty. Well, yeah, but this one's also not a difference. Yeah, no, that looks like crap. Let's go overlay. Overlay's tight. Let's go color dodge. No. I wish I could like tab through these. For some reason, you can only do that in Photoshop. You can't do that in this. Lighten might be just a little too light. Set this to lighten as well. Yeah, it's just a little too light. Not enough is happening there. So I think I would probably just stick with the color dodge might look cool. We could try to color dodge. That actually looks super sick. I do like that because it's messing with this a little bit. I'd say let's just stick with screen or overlay. Overlay I think looks the best. Overlay, we'll go overlay because it's adding that pink in. That looks pretty good. Kind of matches with the scene a lot. I think that looks fine. So yeah, now we have our prism shimmer. Pum pum pum. Now let's get some cool stuff going on with her halo, and let's have this kind of like nice thing is we can come here to project. We can go new folder. Let's go PNGs. In this folder, we can go import file, and then I have documents. I don't know if this will show up for you guys. I have an asset library, but I don't know if you guys have access to my asset library. Stock, effects, and then I have some cool like rays and things like that, little sparkles and glints. Yeah, it looks like you guys can't see it, which is fine. Yeah, let's import this, and this we can put right above the halo. And on this, we can do a glow effect. Glint. And let's change this glow threshold to be a little wider. 45 glow radius. Let that come out a little bit. 13 should be fine. Glow intensity. Go back to glint. That should be fine. I think that looks good. And then normal, we can just do overlay or lighten. I think that's screen lighten. It's all white, so it doesn't really matter. And this I'll probably scale up. So from here, scale, set, and at 100, and then drop it down to 0, or just to like right here, 25 is fine, 23. And I'll have that come out. Now this I will have easy ease, and I will kind of set that in. And then with that, the halo, I want the halo itself to, like that's going to cause the halo to kind of show up. I'm going to drop that. I like that a lot. That looks super good, which means I want it to go to there and then kind of bounce back down. And we'll all kind of get that, if you know what I mean. And then right here, I want this to T, opacity 100. Right here, opacity 0. And here, opacity can just stay. That's fine. And this we will easy ease as well. So it kind of like shows up. I like that a lot. And then let's see what else we can add to this. Now these two bars, right? The far bar, far mouth bar, and far eye bar. I wonder if I could take this down. That doesn't do anything color-wise. So these two, I wonder if I can go like this and go pre-compose far bars. Yes, I can do difference. Oh, sick, dude. Fuck yeah. So that will be doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. And we still get that color, which was what we're looking for. What I might do is take the light ray position over to the right, because that is actually has a light effect on that bar right there. See it? There's a little ray of light, but it really gives that yellow gradient right there, which I really like on that. And so that's something that I think looks pretty cool. And honestly, like all of this with the bokeh, poster tutorial, boom, boom, position. I wonder if moving this over to the center might look a little bit better. I like that a lot. So that's centered more. That looks so much better. I think that looks good. So then what I'll do is I'll go all control U, boom. And then I'll take that light ray position and I'll just take it right back. Something's going on there. Position, nope, control Z. I don't know what's going on here. Now let's grab everything. Position to the left. Oh, because this is pre-composed right there. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to go poster tutorial. Nope, not that one. Far bars. That is chopped off right there. Composition settings. We need this to be pretty big. Okay. So that when I come back into here and I go control all and I drag it over so that she's more centered, we're not losing that. That's what that was. I knew there was something funky going on there. I do kind of like this border here. I think this looks really cool. And then I can just go boom. Okay. Far bars. Nope. Light ray. Position. Over. That works. I think that looks pretty good. And then we can get into graph editor later. But this is just a nice little, right? Like glint looks good. And now we have this far bars thing. What we can do here is we can go new solid. And I'm going to call this, we're going to make this not yellow. This is going to be green. We'll do green. Okay. Green solid. This is particles. Fantastic. And we are dropping this down to far bars. Far bars are going to be on. And this is going to actually have an effect called particle world. And particle world will start right here. Ooh, that doesn't seem right. That don't seem right. Interesting that it's kind of like that. Wonder why it's not straight up and down. Producer, I like that a lot. And then what we're going to do is particle is going to be faded sphere and birth size is going to be very small. Oh, actually, birth size can be 250. Death size can be really small, like 0.1. Size variation, max opacity should be 100. And then white, we're going to have this white. That's going to be red. And it is going to be difference. And then on top of it being difference, we are going to go, physics, velocity can be 1. Gravity is going to be 0. So it should just shoot off to the sides like that. And then longevity, 1 second. Let's make its inherent velocity is fine. Birth rate is fine. Let's make its particle size smaller at birth. We'll bring this down to 100 as well, or like 50. I kind of like the idea of like, yeah, those super small particles, but then birth rate, we're going to set to like 3, enter. And then we need this to kind of shimmer back down. So that's fine. Let's go back to our glint scale, command copy, command V, command copy, command V. And then we're going to go to Halo U, command copy, command V, command copy, command V. So that will kind of fade out into the beginning and it should kind of go pretty seamlessly. Shouldn't be a problem. I like that a lot. Dude. Looks sick. I might change these particles though. Particle, birth color, let's have white. Okay. Death color, let's have bright yellow. Okay. And then let's get this off of difference and we're going to put this on screen. I like that a lot. And then we're also going to add motion blur to this and we're going to get it off of explosive. That's kind of fine. What we're going to have on this is vector blur, because it really destroys the, it like mixes them together in a really cool way. So let's see here, vector blur amount. See, it's like chains them together. And so particles, let's see what we got here. 43, and then angle offset's fine. Ridge smoothness, let's have a smooth ridge. I like that a lot. Now I'm wondering, do I even set this on a mat or no mat? And I just let those particles fly. The only problem is I do want it to stay behind this layer. And so instead I should set its far bokeh to be the mask. And then far bokeh stays on. And so it's only behind her. And then those are the particles that are flying out. I think that looks really cool, but it doesn't ever come in front, right? And now just to loop it, we do the same exact thing we did with the other one, right? So particles, this is what we do. We go birth rate, boom, you take this to here, take this back 1 second, right? To there, take this like this, bring this back to here, come down here, 1 second. So we go 7, 5, 1 second before close. We go birth rate set another keyframe. And then at the very end, 8.5, we go birth rate 0. And then what we do is we take this. So this should be birth rate 0. And then with that 1 second, we can go Shift D or Control D. And we can now put these at a different kind of collection here. And let's see how that looks. And that should be just a perfectly looping kind of section of particles flying out. And the other cool thing is you can make these particles look really cool. Like it doesn't have, right now we have this vector blur on. Right now, let's go down to our particles. Let's change these to, instead of white, I think white's cool. Let's set them to like a pink close, pink death. And right now it's on screen. We'll just do add, or we could honestly just leave it at normal. And I'm not seeing the vector blur that I really wanted. Let's take the velocity down, physics velocity to like 50%, so that it's more like a little bit slower, right? Birth rate's pretty high, but it's a little bit slower. But now we can kind of go into this vector blur. The size is 0.5, dot size is 1. I almost want these to be like, I want them to get smaller. Set them as 2 to 1, so that they're getting smaller as they shoot out. And then size variation we'll set at 20%. I really want them to be kind of similar. Now this vector blur though, amount, is this not on? It is on. Oh, this is only on this top one. Okay, that's fine. Let's go here and let's look at this. See, look at what's going on in her head. This is what I'm talking about. What we can do with this is move this here and delete this one for right now, because this is the one we're manipulating. And I really want to take this vector blur up or down. No, up for sure. And then ridge smoothness. Yeah, something more like that. I think that looks really sick because it really kind of connects them together into these particles. But then right now it's on normal. Try overlay. Yeah, see, that's more like it. Like it's almost fairy particles that are like falling out of her head, right? And then with this we can totally manipulate this. So we just delete that one. We take this back. We go U, and then right here it's going to opacity. Take it back 1 second. 5 frames. Boom. Right here it's going to be opacity 0. Boom. And then now when I'm manipulating this, we can come into fractal noise. We have turbulent smooth. Let's go smeary. See, this is really cool. Where it's like super cloudy. And then take that brightness down on it so that it's just a small effect, right? Take the contrast up, and I want it to be more than that. So we'll take the contrast down, take the brightness up, allow HDR results, spline, soft linear. That's a little too heavy. I feel like it's overpowering the rest of the animation. So smeary is fine. Noise type, spline. Let's go to max, because really what I'm trying to get is a very max terrain. Check that out. And that is not what I'm looking for. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe that is. It seems to be still a little, brightness is too low. Bring this up. Can I invert that? Let's see what that looks like. Oh, just barely seeing anything. Because I like the idea of these, like, but I almost want it to start going the opposite direction now. So like turbulence offset, right? Which one's that? This top one? Take this. I kind of want it to go the opposite direction right now. Like it's giving off that light. And then this is shooting up. Like, see, that looks so much better when it's coming from there. I don't know why. It just looks better. It really, truly does. But I don't know how I feel about the terrain. Let's try cloudy. See, this might be perfect. Very minimal, and that's inverted. What's this look like? Okay, let's take the brightness down. Let's take the contrast up. No, like that. See, that's just a little too light. Is it though? I think that's perfect, because then if I go Shift D or Control D, Control Z. Boom, U, Shift D. Oh, that is Control D. And I take this in here, and I take this here, and I go U, boom. Yeah, that doesn't, I'm not seeing it's going to loop perfectly here. Yeah, loops perfectly. The only thing that doesn't really loop perfectly right now is the particles, but that's fine because we haven't duplicated them yet, right? So I go control. And I don't know, do I like the particles? I think I like the particles. Yeah, I really like the particles. What you can do with these particles is go particle and then go faded sphere. Another really cool one is the cube, right? But it's like obviously cubes, and it's obviously a 2D effect behind your head. It's just another one that can look really cool if you put a lot into it. Lens concave, lens fade. That might look sick. What do I got this on? Overlay? Like normal? No, that doesn't look good. I wonder what it's doing. What is the lens doing? Textured square, textured disc, bubble, motion square. Yeah, that's not doing anything. Bubble. Those are literally bubbles. I do not want bubbles. See, that might be sick. I like that. That looks super sick. I almost just want the death to be, death blue? Dude, that actually looks super cool. No, what if we invert these colors? Okay, white. Okay, and it just kind of fades out. I like that a lot. I really like that. But I almost want it to be like less opaque. Volume shade approximation. Yeah, dude, it's like not even noticeable. Transition. And now what we can do with these is boom, boom, set these to overlay. Yeah, there we go. Now it's just this minimal effect. They all have motion blur on them. Oof, I don't like that. We got to take this back. Year. Birth rate. This one needs to be producing before the other one starts to stop. See, because it's right there for some reason. Why is this one not producing? There we go. But does this jump now? I want to make sure this doesn't jump. Yeah, it does jump. It jumps right there. So, see, I don't understand that. Why does this one... Let me hide this. Why is this birth rate not updating? Delete this. It still doesn't start till here. Let's set this here. Let's delete this. Let's bring this back to there. Let's go like this instead. Troubleshooting live for you guys. Boom. Control D. Oh, Control Z. Control D. U. Boom. Boom. Let's set this to 0. Boom. Let's watch. I don't see a jump there. I don't see a jump in particles. I think that works just fine. So we have looping particles, which is sick. And then we have this, which pops up. And then I want this actually to right here. That's halo. This is glint. Scale back down. Command copy, Command V, and then delete. So that only pops up for that. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to go like this. Graph editor. Boom, boom, boom. No, Control Z. And then this I honestly want it to gradually go off. Comes on and then falls off. Comes on, falls off. And with music, I feel like this will work really well as just like a visualizer, right? Honestly, really not a bad little animation for like a live poster, right? Just a nice little live poster to have. I might take the opacity of this glint. Oh, it's on lighten right now. Oh, it's T. Let's go here. Let's take that opacity down a little bit. That looks honestly pretty cool. Maybe get the bars moving in some way or shape or form. I wonder if we could do that. Far bars. Let's go position, boom, boom. And then this one will be off to the left. And this one will be off to the right. Oh, but it has that on it. That's fucking annoying. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Cancel that. I think that it's fine this the way it is. It's fun little animation, right? Like this is just a good way to take your Photoshop file, and with everything labeled correctly, you can just open the Photoshop file in After Effects and create this motion that kind of brings the poster itself to life. And sure, she's not moving much. This is very basic. We just did some masking with a fractal noise on the prism in the background, and then we added just some slight animation to her halo, and we just added a particle sim in the background with some vector blur on it to kind of give that fairy dust. Did some cool looping techniques with the particles and with the fractal noise. I'm sure I could maybe come up with something down here that might look cool, but really she is the main focus. So maybe we can add some text or something. Other than that, this is pretty much a finished piece. And maybe we can do a color change at some point in here, right? Like, or a zoom. We could do a zoom. The way that you would probably do the zoom is you would take all of these, the entire thing, and you'd right click and you'd pre-compose, and you just call this master project. Boom. And then everything can pop up, and right here at 1.5 seconds, you could go scale, and at 2 seconds, you could kind of zoom in position, and here you could set the position to be a little bit more focused on her. And then with these, F9 to easy ease, come in here and just crank that a little bit so it's more like a punch in. And if that's too fast too, you could take this and we could just drag it out, right, to 3 seconds. Bring in, just move in on her a little bit, and then hold that for a second, right? So Command copy, Command V, and then right here we could slightly move over, position, and these two we can come here and set a little bit of an arc to it. Maybe even we can move that over a little bit, right? We can take that Control Z. I like that. I like taking this back to 5 seconds. Just give a little bit more motion and zoom in on it, right? Like, you don't have to do this either. This might look goofy as hell. Get a nice little zoom in, move over, and we could take these, right? This, Control Z. That is not what I wanted to do at all. Come back to here. We are just grabbing this graph editor. Here we go. And honestly, if that's the case, come back here, delete this, and that might be a little bit better. Just do that. Let's check these out. Boom, boom. See, there we go. Kind of make it a little bit more gradual. Take this down a little bit. This doesn't need to be so crazy. And let's let that kind of loop in a little bit closer so it's more like, whoa, I don't like that at all. So Control Z, we need to add this motion in at the same time. And right here, let's bring it down a little bit, right? Let's go position down a little bit. And right here, let's have it go up. So position up a little bit, right? So let's try and make this like kind of smooth. So it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I just don't want it to jolt. I'd rather it be more rounded. So let's make this round. Command copy, Command V. And this actually looks pretty dumb. I would say don't do this. Doing it with something like this would work better. It's just there's no reason for this motion, right? Unless there's something moving around the screen, there's no reason for this motion. I just wanted to see if I could kind of create something else. But Control Z. Let's delete all of this. But this is also where you can start throwing other effects on, right? So if I just went new, solid, and we'll just call this different. I did not spell that correctly. I don't care. Difference, T. It's like this is where you can start doing like a nice little slight color grade on things and tint it, right? Tint or hue, saturation, luminance, hue, saturation on this. You could just like slightly change the color and get a different look. Take that opacity up. And this is where you can really start messing around with things, really throw a wrench into your project or a new vibe into your project, right? Like really have fun with it. Master saturation, take that down. That's more negative than anything. Lightness, darkness. Have fun with it. That is pretty much going to be the stream for the day, you guys. Thanks for hanging out and joining in. Obviously, export this how you would want it to be exported, but I'll just probably throw a song over this, and that will be it. That will be the animated poster. And for exporting something like this, you just select your timeline, Command M, and click on this last part right there, and you can find a folder to save it in. Have a good one, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Adios.